I've always suspected that of like pictures like Rogier van der Weiden's Descent from the Cross and the Prado or wherever it is. I figured those must have been somebody's friends because they're so. It's a case of that. But going on, we've just known about his work for a long time, and now that we have had the gallery for 11 years going on, it's finally time to bring the two together and have him here, and I'll let him handle the rest of the discourse.
It was very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you all of you for being here tonight. I'm not going to.
Recording in progress.
I'm not going to move around too much. I don't think. I might be gesticulating. Just all the energy is built up in this room. I can't help it. First of all, this is going to be an unusual talk tonight. Not necessarily for you, but it certainly will be for me. Because I'm doing some edgy stuff that I thought I'd never bring up before, which would be, among other things, I'll just tell you one briefly right now, among other things, my sources. What do I use? Actually, the images that I use, and where do I get them from? And people are always asking me that. They say, where do you get your ideas? And to me, it's art is more visual than conceptual. So what that means to me is I think with hello, Catherine. Catherine's a wonderful writer. She probably
It is.
but to me, seeing is thinking. Seeing is feeling. Seeing is where I locate myself in the world. I realized when I was a little kid, I thought that was just, of course, that was reality. And as I got older, I was surprised how many people don't think like that. I don't know how you would answer that, but I literally do think with my eyes. And that's intellectual as well as emotional. And I'll show you that specifically in a few minutes. So what I was going to, I'm trying to tell people where my ideas come from. And with the idea that that's will explain my art. Anyway, I don't know if that's true. But what I'm going to tell you tonight is about how you can ask me, after I finish my little the introduction, you ask me any questions you want about a specific painting, whatever painting you want. And you can tell me what I will refer to, either where I got the idea, what was my technique, and why is it art? And you can any or all of the above. And so I'm very interested in what you think, because I'm not sure what other people think anymore. I used to know. Because as a kid I knew. And it was so much, my intellect is so much tied up with my thought process, but primarily my eyes. So this is about the sense of seeing, but for me, that means everything. So I will. So we'll start off with that. How about that? So are there any questions? Are there any paintings here, particularly that you would like me to speak to?
Yep. Around the corner, iris, skull, skin rabbit.
Yes.
I love it. Is it like a memento mori or?
Well, that one is about a passage in Hawthorne. There's two, as you know, he's speaking to that one, not
The
this
one
one here.
specifically.
The one with the quote, one with the
There.
quote.
The dark
No, the one
necessity.
the other.
Dark
Dark
necessity. Yes. Yes, so to me, they, according to the Charlotte letter in Hawthorne, this is where this comes from. I'm gonna actually tell you where it came. Not a secret. It's a Hawthorne, I love that writer very much, and I've read him a great deal of my life. And this is my favorite novel of his was The Scarlet Letter. And as you probably all know, in The Scarlet Letter, there's this big drama, there's an affair with the minister and this woman who's basically a good woman. Not only is she good, she's the best woman. And as it turns out, and her evil husband turns up at the end. And as she's in jail, he meets her as a doctor. Nobody knows who this guy is, but she is. So he is the wronged, evil guy with the only good person in town that's going to be degraded the next day. So he's ministering her kindly, and he tells her how this is all inevitable. This is all a dark necessity from the time we were born. I think you get the idea. And don't you? Yeah. Good. So this is what I feel very strongly. And what's the evidence of that? Is it some book I read or some? No, it's something I saw that made those lines so true to me. And that's when I saw something little too much drama for a little kid to see. He's got to make some kind of sense out of that. We're just talking about that. But you can't live in this, a child can't live in an insane world. So they will make sense of it. And that's how I managed the visual things that I saw as these are all necessity. If I don't see that, I just don't know enough. So how am I going to learn more to fit all this together? I'm going to look at more stuff. And that's what I did. And this is a record of that stuff that I looked at. And that's where that painting came from. The other pair to that, they're both overdues. The pair that is, did you read the title?
Yeah, I loved it.
That's Portrait of the Artist on his 200th birthday. So that's what I look like 150 years.
Why did you select the things in with the skull? So I understand the skull being 200 years from now, but why did you choose the duck, the rabbit head, the iris, and the fish?
Well, I know why, but when you ask me, I don't know. And I don't know, it's such a compelling, that's what Thomas Aquinas said, when somebody asked him what time was, he said, I know, but when you ask me, I don't know. If you think about that, like when I say, what's time, and say, I know what time is. And if somebody pursued it and said, well, no, I don't know, what is, what can you? Is that a goofy answer? So it's
Did you
it's not
connect with
random.
that? Did you connect with those things? Did you
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
they're part of
Yeah.
your life or?
Yeah, you'll know, well, I love skulls. I don't consider them macabre. Just beautiful things, skulls and shells. Now you'll notice in these paintings, there's, for example, there's 3 frogs, 4 frog paintings. Now 3 frogs, 3 of them are the same frog. They won't look the same to you, but that's the source. And there's some images I just can't put to bed, like the bird, a blue bird, which is also there. And often other paintings I've done. And there's some images I'm not done with one painting. I have to do more, not tomorrow, but maybe years. I have at my age, I have this kind of bunch of recipes in my book. I can pull out photographs, drawings, stuff I've written, and it's all mine. Yes.
Just had a question, the exposure I've had of your art has been a lot of historical and then, realism. Is this a new phase? This type of art with the duck and the skull and like this, is it what I think traditionally of you? So is it my
Yeah.
perception or is this a new phase for you? This kind of real?
It's always, I've always done both. Not simultaneously necessarily, but those are two sides to me. That there's some side where it's just the world is so beautiful, the world is so ephemeral, I gotta paint it before it goes away. There's the other side, it's darker, which is, what does this mean? How is it gonna be? Sometimes I can combine those things. But it's usually my work so I've been doing this professionally for 50 years. So there's changes, but there's a thread that's usually, I'd have both sides, more emotional, peaceful side, and then the troubled, biological. So, does that answer something else I was, yes,
I was curious about the three paintings that you have, the cats from TSO in this book.
yes.
What's your fascination with those cats?
Well, I love cats, obviously, and we always had them. And I think in the last 15 or 16 years, with these particular cats, not that one back there in Texas, but the other two are, and I got involved with, some people already know this stuff, but as long as I've had these cats all my life, they're just pets. They're cute animals that were fun to have around. Didn't take much trouble. But in the last 10 or 15 years, I started reading some studies about, how they have little neurological issues that overlap with ours. And I'm not saying you talk to a cat, or you communicate with a cat in the way we talk about it, but there's so much this interspecies thing. And to me, seeing people with their dogs, that really know about dogs, what dogs are, but there's a relationship there that's very interesting to me. So I will probably be doing a lot more over the years, do more cats, because that was very exciting to me when I realized I'm communicating with this little toy. And they would get cross, and irritated, or they would, they'd be really happy. Wanted to snuggle off of, maybe I'm scratching them, and then I get a phone call, and it starts to get the phone, and get all pissed off. And that kind of stuff. I don't want to make it more than it is, but just, it was new to me. And this is something I want to, it's going to be important to me, yes.
When you were talking about repeating these images, I think about people don't realize that a lot of artists do that in terms of, it sort of fixes it in their mind's eyes, and I would say, like Andrew Wyatt doing the sycamore trees so many times, he just, do different things. And it reminds me too of a poet, either, I think it was James Merrill or Donald Hall, I can't remember. It was a messy poet that he would find scraps and things that come up, and he thought it was a good line, but it didn't fit, so he like put it in a drawer, and like 5 years later, he pulled out the drawer, and he said, oh, that image is perfect for this piece. You know, it's like his mind came up with it, but it wasn't right for that piece, but he came, you know, he knew it was something that he wanted to use later.
Yes,
So
you don't necessarily use it up, and in those 15 paintings, there were 15 different paintings. You're gonna need to use the same tree.
Yeah.
If I could talk briefly about technique, for example, that, this painting over here is how all my paintings start. If you wanna know what's underneath all these paintings, that's what's underneath. It just so happens in doing this, it evolved in a way that was very unexpected to me, and I thought it was done. There's nothing I can do to. I just had to leave it like that. I've never presented a painting like that before as a finished piece, and I designate it as a sketch, but it's not a sketch. It's a complete aesthetic statement, and so this was a very classical. I say classical, I'm talking about 16th century, 17th century, typical Rembrandt stuff kind of things. It's the ground is, I'm just telling you some literal technical things that I do. The ground starts off as this yellow paint. Underneath all that is yellow. And then I do a drawing, a pencil drawing. That's usually very sketchy. And then I put this smudgy stuff on top, which is a glaze. That's what that's called, because it's darker over the lighter paint. And then I start doing what is in fact oil painted drawing. Start painting with opaque paint or transparent paint. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so there's some difference that I'm doing for the first time in this show up here that I've never done before, because there's some new books on Rembrandt about his technique that kind of amazed me. And I realize it's true, thinking back on it, in the 17th century, mostly, but also before and after, painters, not just Rembrandt, it's like everybody. And they started with the background first. You think of that for a second, the first thing they would do would paint the background, whatever you think of as the background. And then they would come towards you, and they would wind up with the last thing they would paint would be the portrait, the most important thing. So they're going from the least important to the most important. Now, any of you that are artists that went to art school know that we were taught the opposite. We did obviously, you do the most important stuff first. I'm simplifying, but you know what I mean. And they said you always gotta, remember all this stuff, you always gotta move around, you gotta keep moving, a little here, a little there, a little there, And it wasn't that they would do it one piece at a time. They would paint the cat, and they'd paint the bricks, and they would, completely finished. And you would say, well, how do they know that? They know that because under microscopic vision, everything you could see was overlapping. They could tell what was first and what was last. So I've done about 4 or 5 paintings using that method, just to see what happened. The main examples of that were the cat paintings. That's where I absolutely forced myself, background, middle ground, foreground. The other paintings are done the opposite, in a more contemporary way. It's Debbie Graham, dear friends. I know
We have a cat painting.
It's amazing the things we know now about. There's no secrets. I'll talk to you technically now. There's the secrets of the old masters. Not secrets. That anybody in the 17th century would die to be in the 21st and get those brushes that we have, the paints that we have. We're light years ahead of them. And so that's the, so is there any other paintings that you, oh, I gotta, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Sebastian?
question.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, okay.
Now, if you were going to take this further, would you put a gazelle over it?
If I was what?
Going to continue, when you continue
Oh.
from,
Yeah, it might
From
be,
the-
or it could be opaque. too.
Okay.
It would- Now, some of it, for example, some of these birds, their blue is so intense
yes,
that there's no color like you can buy. That color doesn't exist. That color was made from 4 or 5 or 6 layers of different kinds of blue. That's why that looks like that. And that can be very effective when you're doing, I don't want to move too much, but if you're that painting, like the flower is all opaque. So that makes those colors really, those qualities contrast to an amazing degree. Now, before Leah and Sebastian, okay, this is going to be spooky. This is something I never did before. I'm sweating.
it is warming.
What they're going to do is, people have asked me about this for decades, that do I use photographs? And I also, there's a number of artists that are, we're all close, there's a group of us. There's a bunch of you here right now. There's Diane, Kevin, and Catherine, and we talk about this stuff. And Barb, I don't want to forget Barb. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay, is it up? Okay, they asked me about sources. And photographs have such an evil reputation. And there's so many, and it's true that this is my opinion, but let's face it, I've been doing this for a long time, that there's so many paintings we see, representational painters, that are basically oil painted photographs. So then people say, well, you know, when they really want to give me a compliment, they say, that painting looks just like a photograph. So I kind of beg to differ about that. But another thing there, so what my son and wife just put up is photographs, source photographs I've used for the painting next to it. Now this was Leah's idea, and I thought, oh, I can't do that. And she was saying, well, why? And I was saying, well, there's too many people are going to say, wow, that painting was just like that photograph. And you gotta look at it. There's so much to see these images and how much has changed. But I'm gonna wrap up soon. You've been a very polite audience. There's the idea of your source material it's just roadmap, it's just stuff. Photographs don't tell the truth. Your eyes don't tell the truth. I mean, you've looked at things that were in front of you that you didn't see. There are things that you saw that weren't there. We've all had that experience. There's no guarantee. Photographs are something with the one eye that sees different than our two eyes. So you would say, if you go down this road I'm talking about, and this is the final, if you go down this road, you wind up in this, so what's real then? So what is true? That's the question. What is true? Art is one, Sebastian's philosopher, so, I mean, he has degrees in philosophy, so he's actually really a philosopher. So I asked him, Sebastian, I heard that somebody told me that art is the only human endeavor that is by definition true. And I said, is that right? And he thought that was interesting because he stopped for a moment. He said, "Doc, we're right." He said, "Yeah, that's true." And if you think about it, I mean, you can go home and think about that. But, these random photographs, ordinary photographs, nothing special about them. I took them and change them and do what we do. We make stuff, a bunch of flowers, a bunch of trees, a bunch of faces, people walking by, cats running across the street. This stuff, what does it mean? You make a picture of something that's real, I mean it's really there, and it's true. That's an art. Yes, John.
I'd like to ask you about the Paris painting. How recently have you touched that?
Well, this,
Because it has various dates on the back that go back a ways.
well,
No, I mean, have you worked on it in the last, say, year or two?
oh yeah.
You have?
Yeah, the most recent stuff I worked on just for this show.
Yeah. So, just to be specific, the dark cloud over there near the east end of the cathedral,
Yeah.
is that a recent addition?
Is it before or after the fire? Is that what you're asking?
Have you created an odd premonition?
It was an odd premonition.
But, I mean, it would be a fantastic odd premonition with everybody having such a good time.
Yes.
Burning in the background.
That's a very, very good point. I wasn't going to bring that up. Yes, if a painting doesn't get sold and it hangs around my house, it's fair game. I might see something, a year or two later and say, oh, man, I'm already seeing stuff I want to change. But the ones that never change are the ones that Leah throws herself in front of and say, it's done. So, if there's any more questions,
I have
yes.
one. This is personal, but what led you to use the language of art to express your inner self? I mean, what brought you to that as a young person?
Oh, I can tell you exactly why. I have the answer to that. It's which I didn't find out till I was an adult. But I have dyslexia, ADD, a whole buffet of things, PTSD, something else is for. I can read, I want you to know that. I can't add 2 and 2, but I can read the hell out of a book. But there's all kinds of stuff I can't do. And I think, you don't get any benefit without paying a price. So I would tell you now, what do I think about the stuff that I have? And I would tell you, it's a gift. Absolutely, it's a gift, because I've also realized there's things I can do with my mind that most people can't even dream of. And it's just the way I can visualize things. I mean, it's no magic or anything, but just the way I can build furniture. For one, I like building furniture. Big, complicated, huge things with no designs or schematics, which I couldn't read anyway. But I can start with a pile of wood and say, what's it going to be? And, it's going to be a step back covered about this high. Well, how high is it? And I would say, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. And that's true. I mean, I just start with a stake and go. Now, not everybody can do that. I'm no master carpenter, but the way I negotiate myself the world is, what does it look like? And I can figure out most things thinking of it visually. So I visualize this thing. Can you do this? And then you can turn stuff around in your head. You want to see the back of it, and the top of it. It's like a computer program thing. And I can change light, where the light is and where shadows are. For like the cat painting there had this strong light on it, and I had all kinds of lights in my head. You turn it around, change the shadow, all that kind of stuff. So that's how, yeah.
Were you the kind of kid, as a little kid, that just drew all the time and then realized that you were good at it? Or did that come later?
Well, I got two answers for that. One is, I did draw all the time, but because the neighborhood was so bad, my parents never let us out of the house. And we didn't have any money, so my aunt, who worked at the government printing office, would bring all these handfuls of pencils. My uncle worked in a restaurant that is a fancy DC restaurant. They printed the menu every day, so the back of it was blank. So he had pencils and paper in the house. The other thing is, I spent a lot of time in the museums in DC because you know they're all free. And I saw this painting. So I was a little 9 years old, 8 something, and I saw it, and it's not anything I knew about or cared about, but the image just grabbed me in an emotional way, where initially it was so intense that I was getting upset that what's happening here? But I calmed down and was looking at it. It's an obscure painting by an obscure painter, nothing I knew or cared anything about. But I had this idea that that's art. That's what just happened to me. Now I'm telling you this in an adult way, that I certainly wasn't thinking about it like this, exactly like this at 9, but that's what I was doing in effect. And the second thing I thought was, I could do that. And I did. And because it was all my dyslexia, whatever, all that other buffet of things, didn't interfere. In fact, it helped with what I was. So I thought, well, that's why I'm here. That's what I'm supposed to do. Yes.
So you described earlier about using photographic references, but that you're not necessarily interested in making a photojournalistic copy through your
Right.
painting. And I've seen some of your quotes is that your paintings are an emotional response to the world.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
express a little or explain a little bit about that process? Is it that you're inspired by what you see, or how is it that it evokes something out of you?
Well, I think, and this is all my life, but I know, again, this is not kid talk. I'm retrofitting it to how I would explain it. That I would see, I think I mentioned this when we were starting off, that when I saw beautiful things, I think every organic thing that's alive has one moment of perfect beauty. A face, a cat, a flower. And for example, we didn't have a dog when I was a little kid. And I know what the dog looked like, and it was my dog. I knew everything about it. But one day, it was just sitting in the window with the light hitting it this certain way, the kind of shadows, and I was like, oh my God, that's so, I would have painted that if I could. But now, people think gallery owners, not John, but most gallery owners say, well, can't you just paint flowers? And we need a horse guy. You could be a horse guy. And but I can't turn out that. It is what it is, but it is my emotional response to the world. Yes, John?
Well, what you were saying a minute ago kind of anticipated one of my questions, which was back in your earliest days as a kid. And you were seeing paintings, and the whole world was full of paintings. But it's only a certain kind of paintings that you have settled on to look like. And do you remember any moments of where you would distinguish what you wanted to do versus what, like, I would think a little kid would say, well, look, I could paint like Franz Klein, whoopee, but you said, no, I could paint like whoever this all is. And you have a memory of seeing work like this and being drawn to it specifically.
It was mostly, well, I wanted to know everything, and I wanted to see everything. So I had a big plate. It's kind of hard to distill it enough to do a painting. I was trying to do everything at once. And there wasn't a specific moment, but there was a general, when I was in art school, the art teachers professors were coming down on me pretty hard, because I was searching for what you said. And they said, look, man, if you want to be a serious artist, you got to do a thing, you know what I mean? A thing. Can't be doing flowers one day, horses the next, and balloons the third. And I can't be good. I'm always bad. They thought, you got all this talent, you're doing all this stuff, you need scholarship. What's wrong with you? You stop looking at all this old crap. Just do the thing.
Well, wasn't your art school kind of a cutting edge of arts?
Cutting edge of what?
A cutting edge of avant-garde.
Oh, yes,
And there you were, in the middle of it.
Absolutely. And I did my conceptual art and my happenings and my, which I got a lot of attention. You could say my career started out as an abstract artist. I mean, that's where I got my attention. That's why I got a scholarship to England, St. Martin's, England, for this conceptual art stuff. And when I started doing this stuff over there, they lost their mind. I said, this is not. They thought it was a swindle. I just got to tell you one short story, apropos of that. I was called to the heads of the schools. St. Martin's is a very venerable art school there, to see the head of it, the director, Sir Frederick Gore, known as Freddie, or Sir Freddie. So I thought, okay, this is it, they're gonna throw me out, and they should. I mean, I'm not doing what they gave me the scholarship for. Fair enough. So I went there, I sat down, walked in, and he was like, oh, Adrian, come in, sit down, sit down. So I came in sweating, I was sitting there, Adrian, I love ballet. I love it. Then he got up and kind of sort of like, down. And he walked over to the corner of the room. The room was not much smaller than this corner of the room. And then he went, I made him go crazy. So he sat down and said, you see, Adrian, I love ballet, but I cannot do it. One must be of one's place and one's time. And you know when you get really pissed off and you feel the blood coming up, that goes to your head, and I came back with incredible rejoinder. I said, well, I'm going to do it. He said, he looked at me a while, and he goes, okay. So I left. Now, I didn't hold up mine to the bargain, but they did theirs. I mean, they're British, That's what they did. And I got a degree, and I got, all the stuff, and they were gentlemen about it. And I felt badly. Again, I can't help being bad. I just have to, they were like, couldn't you just smear around the last few months? Just for us, just throw it, I mean, it doesn't matter, just not do that. And you would think, well, I should have done that, but I couldn't do that. So, I wanted to do that. I mean, so, that was my reluctant way of, my stubbornness, my objectionable, self-righteous, somewhat angry, pissed off, stubborn guy. But maybe that's what it takes. It certainly did in my case. It wouldn't be me, but it'd be a lot easier to take. All right, well, thank you so much.